Who's in the untitled mailbox? One guess who? Who'd never ever start an argument? Who'd never show a bit of temperament? Who's never wrong but always right? Who'd never dream of starting a fight? Who's on your screen with the comic book scene? No one but Dan Shaheen.
Technically speaking, no one but Dan Shaheen and Larry Young. Hey guys, welcome back to another $1 Million Mailbox. Let's get rid of this stuff for a second. Wait a minute. Go back here. All right. So, welcome. Hey, how you doing? Hello, world. My name's Dan Shaheen. Welcome to this comic news with Dan Shaheen. Nah, it's $1 Million Mailbox. I think we're splitting this into its own just thing. So, this is the show where I take submissions from you and put them up on the old $1 Million Comics cam and take a look at them. So, if you want to see your comics on the $1 Million Mailbox, you just got to do one thing. You mail them in. Look at this. Dave Howlett knows what to do. I got a submission from him right here. $1 Million Mailbox, P.O. Box 1163, Arcata, California, 95518. He knew where to send his books. We're not reviewing his books today, though. They're going to be on the next $1 Million Mailbox. I have such a gigantic pile of books. It's amazing. Today, though, we're going to look at Paralaxium by Mark R. Bernal. He's a long-time or recent watcher of this show. Hey, Don. What's going on, buddy? Don Chin. We'll be looking at Paralaxium by Mark R. Bernal. We'll be looking at Harvey Kennedy by an old pal of mine, an amazing artist, Joe Demery. And then we'll also be doing an unboxing of a Kickstarter project that we hyped here on the show. We'll be looking at Ryan Claytor's A Hunter's Tale. That's what I should have showed you since we're going to hype it today. He sent into the $1 Million Mailbox. See, Dan Shaheen. That technically it's pronounced Femin, Dan Femin Shaheen. It's an old family middle name. Anyway, what am I doing here? God, I'm going nuts. Larry's sitting in the back room just with his thumb up as you know what, waiting to come in. But wait, should I do it here or where should I go? Yeah, let's go to the back cave. All right, everything's more fun in the back cave. And speaking of fun, here's a guy I like to call Captain Fun. It's Larry Young. Hey, Larry.
Captain Fun. That's awesome. I was just listening to the Blues Brothers and they introduced everybody, from Austin, Texas, Tex Austin, and Mr. Fabulous himself. And so now I'm like Captain Fun. That's awesome.
Totally.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Alan Rubin. Right. Alan Rubin. Matt Guitar Murphy. Matt Guitar Murphy. Yeah. Rest in peace, Matt Guitar Murphy.
Yeah. He just died. Oh, you know your briefcase full of blues.
Hey, Warren. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah. I see Don Chin in there too. Hey, Don.
Yeah.
Hey, Warren. Yeah, good morning is right. I got my my Big Lebowski jacket on. I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
This is vintage too. I'm not one of those Lebowski fans that blaze up and buy the new ones from Pendleton. This is 100% vintage. I found it in my fat ass man size. That's unbelievable. But I was looking in like 1999, so it's a unicorn now. But
you're not a dude come lately, is what you're saying.
I'm not. Oh, you know what? I hated that movie when I first saw it. And then the second time I watched it with my father-in-law, and he's like, no, this is a Raymond Chandler movie. It's just the dude is the detective. And I went, oh, I missed everything. Let's watch this again. Now
I think I was the same way for movies.
Yeah.
It hasn't gotten there for me. For Coen Brothers, you're never gonna beat Raising Arizona to me. It just
Mimi agrees with you. That's her favorite Coen Brothers. I like most of their stuff. I like my oldest friend Rick Austin, from you've heard from the Star Trek days. He is like 100% Miller's Crossing guy, and Russ Smith I think really likes Hudsucker Proxy, which I haven't even seen. But
it's pretty good. That one's good too. They're all good. I mean, No Country for Old Men might be one of the all-time. It's on my list of all-time, like just tense movies.
Exactly. Yeah. And, I really like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I really like that because the Coen brothers, they do all this formalist experimentation that I really dig. Like, so yeah, this gets me in the mood for $1 Million Mailbox, because sometimes people will do something and I'll go, what? I don't get it. And then I look at it again and it's like, oh, that was me, not you. Right?
Okay.
Like Lebowski.
Absolutely. And so that reminds me of what's going on in the mailbox today, Larry, because I was telling you backstage, like every time I get a box in the mailbox, I immediately open it, right? I open the package because I'm excited about what's going to be in there. And I look at it and I kind of glance at it and I go, okay, interesting. And then I kind of put it aside because I have a big stack to work through. And then right before this show, I read it. And invariably I go, oh my God, this is not what I was expecting. Oftentimes I'm like super surprised in a pleasant way. Today's show definitely is one of those things. I think let's go. Let's dive in. Where? You know where.
The $1 Million.
Boom, $1 Million Mailbox. Here we go. Let's do this thing. And can I do this and make this work? I think I can. This should work. Good enough. Okay. Let's start off with, from my old pal, a neighbor, a schoolmate chum. I went to high school with him. I even lived with him when I first owned my comic book store in San Jose. This is Harvey Kennedy by Joseph Demery. Okay. Joe Demery is so talented. I'm going to just pull this in for a second here. Harvey Kennedy. Now, this guy is an artist, man. He was, I remember him as being one of the best in the advanced placement art classes and whatever. Classes are classes, but this is one of those guys you looked at and you went, oh my God, he's an amazing talent. He draws like surrealist oil paintings like that look like Salvador Dali meets Robert Williams meets nothing you've ever seen before. So he's really cool. And he always liked comics, but he never made comics. Even when I knew him, he didn't make them. Finally, it's time, Larry. Let's look at Harvey Kennedy.
So he's just marshaled all of his energies, and now this is it.
Well, we'll go into that in a second because this is not it. This is far from it for Joe. We'll talk about what Joe does.
Okay.
This thing is full color.
That's crazy, man.
On a nice, like non-glossy Star Comics cam. My only criticism, I have a couple criticisms on this book. They're all things that I would expect to say to a guy who's an artist first and foremost, like Joe is. There's no cover price. There's no UPC. Big deal, right? Okay. Escape Pod Comics is this thing. He's got a nice little logo, and he sent me a sticker too, but it's in the envelope, and I left the envelope here. I love good front matter and back matter. There's no back matter or front matter here, but there is some back matter. We'll get to it.
Wait, really? Is there something printed on the inside back cover? Because I was gonna on the inside back, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, wait, no, on the inside back's probably white too, but there's a little back matter before.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's a function of how he got it printed. Like, it's probably one of those print on demand things, and they don't do inside front, inside back printing, which I'm running into right now with my Shield book. Yeah, I want to put a little Shield logo on the inside front cover, right? No, can't do it.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got to work within those constraints, I guess.
And I'm just saying it's not a, if I was him, because I agree with you 100%. There's nothing worse than opening a book and having that big white page there. I would have put like a sticker and an autograph on there to everyone I sent out to people.
Okay. To be fair, he did throw a sticker in there.
Yeah.
He signs these things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right.
Because Joe is an artist. He's taking these around. He's selling these. We'll see in the back. He's got a listing for all his books, and he's got like a humongous amount of books. Did my camera just disappear? It did.
No, I got it.
You don't see me though. My face. That's okay.
No, I don't see you.
It's probably better off for the moment. All right. Let's just dive into
while we're there, can you make my nose smaller too?
Okay. So Joe, he read comics. He reads the good stuff and everything, but he's a painter first and foremost. And you can see he's doing some really interesting, non-traditional kind of page layouts and lettering, but it's working. I really like the color scheme in general. The story now is like, because I know Joe, it makes sense. A little bit of it makes sense. There's references to like suburban California and a few things. But I mean, this is obviously like most of his stuff, sort of a surrealistic interpretation of his own mind and life and everything else. And Joe, if he knows nothing else, he knows how to have fun. He was always a great guy to talk to, like really down to earth, like super hip, but not a hipster, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
he was always into cool and interesting stuff, liked good comics if he read any comics, he read good stuff.
I love what he does with that text. That's so cool.
Yeah, he did some really interesting stuff.
Lauren in the comments just said it looks like a little like Stephen Pratt. You know what? I was getting a Baron Story vibe. Do you know that guy?
Oh, artist? Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
He's sort of he's a guy that sort of Dave McKean processed, and so he's got that similar kind of thing. And I'm sorry, what's your pal's name? Joe, right?
Yeah, Joe.
Joseph. Joe. It looks like he's of that Northern California vibe of like,
oh, for sure.
Let's do that, which is funny, like, because McKean is British, right? But there's that whole thing that started with the $6 Million Man credits. I will go to my grave on this one. If you can picture the $6 Million Man credits,
yeah,
that just there's a layer of images. They've swapped sound and light with stuff, the music, the narration. That I just got that vibe off of Dave McKean and Baron Story and your buddy Joe. This is just kind of, it kind of makes sense, but don't think too much about it because it's more of an experience of the images coming at you instead of reading a book. You know what I mean?
Perfect summation, because it really is stream of consciousness style. But with cool lizard people and like gods and demons and all the stuff we like. Okay. And then a couple pages here that we get into, like, here's some of his painting work. Maybe I can zoom in on this thing and show you some of these.
Those landscapes are awesome.
Yeah, he does plein air paintings, like it raw in the wild, really good stuff. What's it say? Surreal studio paintings, plein air landscapes, abstract shell art, the fine art of Joseph Emery. Okay, you can find this stuff. Now over here, we get a look at like the many art books and projects and things he's been involved with, going back quite a ways now. I remember this one here, the Unit Breed. Right here was just a beautiful hardcover bound art book, and if I remember right, it had CD with his music in it.
I love it.
He's one of those guys. Here he is too. And let me tell you this, Joe Demery. All right, yeah, this is the guy, and yeah, he gets an artist that looks like this. He's getting as many chicks as you think. I don't want to blow up your spot or anything, Joe, but just kidding. But he was never a jerk. He always had plenty of companionship. Let's put it that way. But talent to back it up. So this is an amazing book by Joe. Oh, let's look at the full wraparound.
People just like to hang out with people knocking out the stuff that only they can do. So yeah, I'm not surprised. True. Yeah, I love hanging out with people that just do their thing.
Me too. I lost my camera here, Larry. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can get this. Is this correct? Oh yeah, I lost it, and then it's lost up, and then it's coming back. And we got that, but I think my camera. See, that's what I get for getting too fancy. It's okay. It's all right. We'll live.
I can't help you. You know me and my technological and biological distinctiveness have not been assimilated by the Borg. Because I can't help them.
Let's just keep going here. I've been having weird camera issues lately. Might be time to upgrade.
I love the font on that title, Harvey Kennedy. Yeah.
Of Definitely. Of all the lettering, like I really love this logo. I just love the whole look on the cover.
I just think if you have a painting like this for your cover where there's a lot going on, you want the logo type to be distinctive, but you also don't want to take away from the art, right? And I think that's good. I might have made a distinction where his outline should have been white or yellow, so the red kind of
agreed,
black fade in a little, but like that's just a tweak, right? I think that cover is great.
Agreed. I might have even put Harvey Kennedy down here, although then I would be breaking my own rules about where to put the logo on a comic.
That's the shelf rule that Manny. I love that I know someone named El Crudo. I got to sleep at night going, should I get Star Trek boots? Oh no, I know a guy named Crudo. That's cool. And then I fall asleep.
All right, Larry. So Harvey Kennedy, Joe, I love you, buddy. Keep doing what you do and keep sending me more of your stuff, and I'll keep hyping it. But now let's look at, holy cow, Mark R. Bernal's Paralaxium, Larry.
That looks cool.
He sent me 4
just,
issues.
Icons, images. That's cool.
Exactly.
What's it about?
That's what I said.
What's it about, Dan?
Well, that's what I said when I opened it too. And I said that about halfway through the 0 issue too. I was like, what is this about? It was really hard. But by the time I started to read issue 1, issue 0 made complete sense. And the whole thing really came together into an amazing thing that I love. And I can't wait to talk about. This is going to be great. Let's look at Paralaxium 0 to show you what I mean. Okay, so this stuff is all in black and white, or should I say it's white and black, really. The whole thing is drawn in this really crazy white on black. It's like black paper. It's pretty glossy. So it's got a weird style. Now, this first one, it sort of starts out Paralaxium research, the study of interspace between parallel universes. That's what they've told me. It doesn't mean anything to me. I'm just here for the money. The visions I see seem like a bunch of bizarre dreams and hallucinations. They seem satisfied with my descriptions, though. I'm surprised I can speak considering the strong sedatives I'm injected with. Okay, yeah. And then this thing gets into a very weird metaphysical space, talking about really weird otherworldly realms and stuff that, like, it makes sense, but I was like, I don't understand really where this thing is going yet. I'm really glad he sent me all 4, because if I read just issue 1, if I'd like picked it up off the shelf, well, I would probably come back for some of the amazing images like we're about to see. Hang on a second. So this white on black really suits the artist's work. Images like this, I really like a lot. I think his rendering is really cool, and it gets better and better through the four issues.
That's a cool 2-page spread. I like that a lot. That's like very Ditko right there.
Totally. Yeah. Well, it seems in that realm, and as far as like Ditko's later work, in that it's talking about, it's using metaphors and talking about higher level kind of like ethical, moral kind of stuff a little bit.
I love just the title of the book kind of tells you that, because parallax is just the difference between objects based on the change of the observer. So that's a really cool thing. It's a really hip thing for an artist and writer to do to the audience, right? It's like, it's what you were speaking of, right? You changed your position as an audience member between 1 and 2 for the better, right? So that's really cool. I think titles are very important. Everybody thinks the cover's your first shot, but I really think the title is.
And the reason I think on this one, though, what's really slaying me here is that this first issue, as I understand it, and maybe I'm not quite understanding this right, but I think I am. We don't get till the very end, and then we see this guy sort of like somebody is underwater, and there's these like scientists, and they're doing something to him, right?
Yeah, taking the drugs.
This is issue 0, and I don't know if I was supposed to read it first or not. I did. Then I went on and read issue 1, and it all clicked. As soon as I started reading issue 1, it starts to click in that you know, it starts off a little bit weird. There's these weird characters. We get into a more contemporary, real setting. So we start to see like, oh, this is not just going to be all weird fantasy stuff. This person can draw and can draw real things and can draw real world situations and people and objects and everything. So now we're getting more into the realm of approachable comics. You know what I mean? Like, I love art comics for art's sake that are just poetry, basically, like the one we just looked at. But that's not what Paralaxium is. It has a story to tell.
I get what you mean. There's like a more traditional sense of layout to the art. And
just characters and protagonists and
I just think it's funny. You're like more real world. I'm like, oh, like that guy's, you know, crazy dreadnoughts and his organs coming out. That's real world. But it is. That's what's kind of cool about this work.
It is. Well, and so the idea is that this guy is kidnapped and put into this crazy, like, you know, it's like a Clockwork Orange style brainwashing situation, right? And they're going to start brainwashing him into being a seer for the Paralaxium. But what they start brainwashing him with is issue 1.
That's awesome.
Or issue 0, I mean. Yes, this is issue 0 being read back to him. So now we understand it in context that this is sort of being used to train his mind / body to do the whatever, the bidding, the dirty work of these scientists. And so that instantly 100% redeemed the first issue, and even more so made it like, oh, he gave me a sucker punch. I love that.
Speaking of the black and white, that page you have with the reverse of his picture, I seen that, Sam. That's made me have a thought where El Crudo says, wow, that's a lot of ink. It made me think, like, maybe he's just drawing in reverse and reversing it in Photoshop.
It could be.
Because that's a lot of ink.
Well, yeah, if nothing else, usually in those kind of situations, they draw on like a black thing, either with white.
Well, that's, I mean,
a scratch board or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Even I fooled around on scratch boards. But like, and that piece on the left might be scratch board with all that cool energy coming off. It's hard to tell that little. But
I think we're just old, Larry, and it's all digital is what I think.
Yeah. So it's easy to do those cool effects with the reverse and stuff in digital. But man, I love black and white comics.
And look at this, though. This is when I start to go, okay, from the 0 issue, it was like, all right, fantasy castles and this and that are great. I love those things. But like here we get into like having to draw nuts and bolts action, moment to moment action in comics.
That's a great panel. With the special effects are part of the speed lines.
Yeah. And I forgot too. Yeah. Coming up is one of my all-time favorite sound effects I've ever seen in a comic book, Larry.
I
forget which issue it's in, but I'll know it when I get there. So this guy, clearly he can draw lots of stuff. He has a real grasp of panel to panel storytelling, and his layouts are readable, but not vanilla. You know what I mean? This guy's doing it.
I totally get it.
This is a style that I really
those capital I's in the middle of words, though. Oh my God, it's such a.
Where are you seeing that?
So increase. See, it has the first word on the left there. Increase the ventral. See, the I's got crossbars.
Yeah, but I think that's okay for the first letter because he's doing it right in the other ones.
But then look at Sir on the next page with the I right in the burst.
Sir. All right. Well, but that's all caps. Well,
so
no, it's all caps.
That's why I was just going to explain why you think that's okay is because he just cut and pasted from the script, but that's not okay in lettering. It's such a minor thing, but oh my God, people like I've lettered thousands of pages, and I'm so you can imagine how somebody like Rich Starkings feels when he sees this, right? Like this bugs me, and I'm just a well-informed enthusiast on lettering, right? I've done it, but I would never say I'm professional because my balloon placement is great, but I would never curve these like speaking things because it's just too much of a hassle.
You're a
right?
serif Nazi. You're a serif Nazi. Just say
it. I have my opinions about lettering. Yes.
Right. Oh, when we get into the quibbles about the ears on your eyes, I think you're doing okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like if that's a level of something I have to say, that's that's just me being bitchy.
Because let me say this.
I love this book. This book is great.
Flat stock cover. Oh, great feel in the hand. Very stiff kind of cover stock with a UPC code and a cover price right on it. Trade dress that is minimalistic but effective.
Yeah, that's a book that will sell in a store. That's for sure.
This is what I'm saying. This is shelf ready.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just keep going here through this because I just want to go through it quickly and go through the pages, but just show you that this is an artist who is growing issue to issue just like anybody else, I guess. But it just has a real interesting story to tell. I would say the thing that this reminds me the most of is the work of Brian Talbot.
Oh, yeah. I totally see that.
Yeah, with all it's got a Luther Arkwright-ish feel. And I mean that in a great way because that's an incredible comic.
El Crudo says Wolverton too, which I totally see.
Sure. He's influenced everybody, I think, who inks.
I think you're right.
I love that guy.
With everybody. Yeah.
Letters.
Yeah.
And Mark, we love you, buddy. This is amazing comics that I thoroughly enjoy.
Now I kind of feel bad that I'm like, But the good thing is, like, that's the only thing I can come up with. You're doing all right.
For once, let me be the relatively nicer person in any context in life, Larry. Like, this is the only one where you found a criticism I could not. Okay,
well,
these guys are his character designs are cool. These guys that have these, you think they're tattoos, but they got 6 eyes, so they're really
that's awesome. Yeah, his art is super kinetic, and yet at the same time, like these 2 facing pages are a perfect example. Like on the left side, he has all that organic motion going on, and the right side is like, oh yeah, but we need establishing shots to put this nonsense in a space.
Bingo.
So that guy totally knows what he's doing.
Bingo. Yeah, and then when we get back to some of our main characters, and this is where the style of white on black really starts to pay off because he's using he's like filled with cosmic energy and stuff, and it really seems to glow on the page. He did a great job with these light effects. I don't know that it's the cam does it justice, but it really looks cool reading it in person. Oh yeah, wait a minute. I missed the sound effect. This was it. Yeah. I believe this was it. It was one of the best ever. This is This is it. Great scene. This weird extra dimensional dude bumps into somebody at the bar and they go to beat the shit out of him. You ruined my suit. And then the sound effect says kapuke.
Kapuke.
As he punches him in the stomach and then gets puked all over.
Right.
That's
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think I've ever seen somebody change a special effect midway like that. Like, it's supposed to be like a kapow or kablam.
Yes.
Bluey, but it's a kapuke. That's
I love
awesome.
it.
I love that. Stephen Grant does a cool thing where he emphasizes a word, like if you're saying, everybody. Like some letters will just put everybody in all bold, but he will like specify, no, I want the first bit of the syllable pronounced. So it's like everybody, like how people actually talk. And that's the vibe I got from that special effect. Puke.
Totally. It's funny you mentioned that. Some letterers do that. And I often wonder if that's in the script or not, like the bolding of certain.
Yeah, it absolutely is in the script. That's something the writer's specifying to do like emphasis. Because a letterer doing that on his own would make a writer crazy. Because if the letterer did it and it was great, the writer would never say anything and just take credit for the awesomeness. But if that's not what he intended, he would get that letterer fired. You know what I mean? There's no like in between there.
Yeah. I guess you would. Yeah, that makes sense. The letterer doesn't have the ability to fuck with it that way. Although, who knows? Maybe Todd Klein does. Maybe.
I honestly used to do that myself every once in a while. Just
I think
to see what would happen.
I think ultimately, like a pro, though, like Klein never would do that without.
Yeah, no, you absolutely would never do that. It's like graphic designers say the client's always right, and if you misspell the word on their banner, that's your fucking problem. How do I know that you don't want it spelled that way?
Yeah, right. Okay, moving on. This Mark Bernal's Paralaxium is if you like a Brian Talbot style book. You know, if you're a fan of that kind of crazy interdimensional, multi-dimensional stuff where you never quite know whether you're coming or going, I'm going to fully, highly recommend Paralaxium to you.
I love that he did that in black and white because this is just my observations. But if you're doing a parallel world thing and you want it to look weird and strange, giving everything color is just, you can do it, but you have to make sure that you're using a color palette across the whole thing. And it just seems like you're adding more complexity to a thing that's already complex, right?
Totally. I love this guy.
Yeah. Are you doing a thing where you tell people how to get these books at the end, or? Because
I will for sure.
Because Paralaxium, man, I got to check that out.
Yeah, these days on the internet, though, you just got to remember the name Mark Bernal, and you got to remember Sudden Universe. But you got to remember Paralaxium. But let's see, I don't have. That's the one thing I'm going to ding you on, Mark. All right, Larry, negative Larry, you did it again.
What? No, I just
no. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's on here. It's in here.
Yeah, good. But you need to know. Show that on the screen because you need to know how to get in touch with them by having it.
Boom, everywhere. Of course, Larry. Somebody as sharp as Mark is everywhere. He's on all these things. But start here. Don't give money to these companies. Start by going directly to the source, suddenuniverse.com. You'll find everything you need to know about Paralaxium.
These are on Kindle and Comicology as well. So, yeah, he's got it covered.
He's all over the place. Mark's no dummy. He's a fan of this show. He's a fan of the $1 Million Mailbox.
Good job, Mark. Except for the crossbar personal pronoun eyes. I have nothing to say except good
that's it
about that.
You got a one kerning ding from Larry.
It's not even that. It's the wrong eye. It's a character set thing.
Okay, what do we got now?
That's all. But you know what? Once I tell people that, they get angry at me and then never make that mistake again. So
yeah, totally.
You're welcome.
Oh, wait a minute.
There he is.
Hey, you're welcome, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you for the comics.
Thanks for letting us read your hard work. That stuff was great.
Dude, this is a vision and a lot of hard work and a lot of care. And the final package, I'm just going to say hand feel. I'm just such a guy for hand feel. And, it's silky.
Throw me the idol, I throw you the whip.
I want to rub it on my face. I love it.
Wow.
Okay, speaking of, and now next, let's talk about a guy we know and a guy that we know cares a lot. We're going to look at, we're going to do an unboxing. So I got the Kickstarter from our pal Ryan Clater. I had him on the show and we talked about A Hunter's Tale. And so now let's take a look.
It's my dream to play a round of 8-Ball Deluxe with Ryan Clater.
Dude, pinball with Ryan would be sweet.
That would be awesome.
I'd like to go visit him I think he's in Michigan. Yeah. And he's got his own pinball arcade with custom neon and bespoke watches.
That's great.
And he'll serve you a pancake with your face on it at the end of that thing too. He's so amazing.
That sounds like it'd be a threat in some Sopranos fan fiction.
Oh, well, you know what? I forgot.
He's gonna make you go to Michigan and he'll serve you a pancake with your face.
I forgot to read. Mark did what I always tell everybody to do, and nobody does except Mark. He wrote an actual letter to me. Okay, I'm going to read this thing. Hi, Dan.
Wait a second, man. You don't get cover letters?
I read every one that I've gotten, Larry.
Man. The kids nowadays.
Because, they're part of, most of these people are part of a shipping and fulfillment thing. And so they just ship them up. And they throw some stickers in, but yeah, they're not doing like a Larry thing with a handwritten note and a little person.
A baseball cap, a mixtape, and like a half a bottle of scotch.
All right, so here it is. Dan, enclosed are 4 issues of my comic book series, Paralaxium, for the $1 Million Mailbox. Little about myself. I attended the Joe Kubert School in the 80s. Creds right there.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Oh, helped start North Star Publishing, art director, graphic artist. One of the first artists at Bungie Software making the video games Marathon 2, Myth 1 and 2, and pre-production on Halo, lead artist, art director. So
that's great.
I was the lead artist, art director at Wide Load Games, developing the game Stubbs the Zombie. I enjoy your shows and interviews. All the best to you. Mark Arbernell, Sudden Universe, suddenuniverse.bigcartel.com, Instagram at Mark Burnell Art. P.S. They are really missing out on your juggling. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that.
I love your YouTube where they just come up every once in a while. And I will drop what I'm doing and I'll just sit here in Dan's yard, watch him juggle for 10 minutes. This is great.
Oh my gosh. It was a savior to me. It's a savior to me when I can't exercise. Okay, speaking of personal notes, Ryan Clater. Dan. Oh, not just personal, but on from the desk of Elephant Eater Comics. Ryan is a graphic designer par excellence. Everything he does looks good. Dan, thanks so much for always being game for an interview. It was great having you part of my wacky tour. Hope you love the book. Can't wait to see it on the $1 Million Comics Cam. Take care, Ryan. You're seeing it right now, buddy. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So nice little envelope. And let's open up this little self-sealed plastic bag here. It's got a couple of things. This has got sorry, I don't want to hit that sticky spot. Luckily, Ryan knows not to put just a sticky piece of tape that's going to destroy the comic on the way out.
You know that workaround, though. Working in a comic store.
Sure,
you put the tape all around the other side, and then nobody gets
absolutely. Yeah. Well, these things are actually a hidden danger because how many times I've thought I was safe.
Oh, yeah.
This thing sitting up and then slapped a comic book down on it. All right. I know.
I just am not over the fact that I think you lived in a comic book store for a while.
I did a lot of things in that store. I did everything.
Didn't we all, though, right? You just start to feel like that's where you live.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to stop interrupting because I'm a giant fan of Ryan's stuff. So let's see the deal.
Ryan's the best. All right. So here we've got the signed book plate. Signed and numbered 282 of 500. I've got the Hunter's Tale bookmark. My relationship with Ryan began way back when he designed a bookmark for me. Oh, wait, here. I got one right here. He did my website, comicbookshelf.com, which is now owned by domain squatters.
That's going to happen.
He did an excellent job on this thing way back when to my specifications. All right. And now the book itself. And this is this a sticker? Yeah, this is a Hunter's Tale deer in the headlights sticker, which he also affixed to the back of the backing board. The comic came in. Really classy touch. Okay. And here's a Hunter's Tale. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to go through it, because it is a beautiful little mini comic format. And man, do I love mini comics.
Ryan does a cool thing that you were talking about, the inside front cover. When he does art, he makes it look like end papers for published things. So I love that. Like it's a design that you got on the inside front of your book from 1927.
And not to rip on Joe Demery too, but yeah, this is what the power of an inside cover can bring.
Yeah.
Your book for sure.
No, not every compliment is like a ding against somebody else, and not every ding is like, So we're not ripping on Mark. He knows what he's doing, but it's just a cool feature,
We're not blowing out one candle to make ours brighter. We would never do that. No. Okay. Hunter's Tale. This is the comic adaptation of a poem written by Ryan's grandfather, all about like getting up in the morning and
super
hunting.
Cool.
It's a wonderful little tale, and just look at. So this is a mini comic, but just look at how graphically appealing and readable this is. Even just like this, Ryan is good. Look at that.
This actually speaks to what I was saying about adding color, and you choose a good palette and extend that through the work. And so he has all this cool like nature browns and burnt siennas, and just that's just. Even his captions are like sort of, they're a yellow, but they're not like garish Captain Marvel yellow.
Yes.
It's like a yellow you would find on a tree somewhere. Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah. Ryan. Yeah, it's hard to say stuff when Ryan's working. He's like, oh, another brilliant piece of work. Next.
Totally, dude. Totally. The guy's, he's a pros pro. And honestly, is working in academia, teaching people, as well as doing all his own projects and stuff. And he's one of those guys who's like oh, wait a minute. I got to plug his Patreon. Please go check out Ryan's Patreon if you want to contribute to all the cool stuff he does. And I'll be honest, as awesome as this book is, this is maybe my third favorite Ryan Claytor, project out there. Like his pinball magazine is just fantastic. The name is slipping me in the moment. Apologies, Ryan. Cartoon or sorry. Anyway, here's Ryan himself in the back of the comic talking a little bit about the book, and with the old explaining hand. I love explaining hand. This is one of my favorite comic book tropes, is the old explaining hand, as Joe Matt used to call it.
Yeah. You're not talking about Coin Op Carnival, are you?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, Ryan's pinball stuff. That's our intersection.
And check out this beautiful picture of this is Ryan and Gramps.
Oh, and his grandfather. I was just gonna ask. That's what a cool little thing to make for your grandfather.
Even if Grandpa Claytor.
Thanks for the snowmobile ride.
Yeah,
that's making me all misty. That's really cool.
Totally. Love it. Thank you, Ryan. Man, you're one of my favorite guys who discovered the show, has been a part of the show, been on the show, and then produced amazing work. Thank you for adding hours and hours of free content to this show that I have monetized. Sucker. I'm only kidding. Thanks, Ryan.
Everything. See, that's like I talk to the noobs all the time about this, and it's not free content, man. He's getting his name out, and he got all this goodwill. So you and me will always say, wow, Ryan Clayton, even something that, might be a misstep or something that doesn't appeal to us personally, he gets all the goodwill in the world, because it's like, well, that's gotta be me, because the last 17 things he did were great, so even, you don't even have to read that thing about his grandfather. It's just coming out that all the love he has for his grandfather, right? So who doesn't love reading? It's like, I don't care about golf at all. I don't like Tiger Woods, but I love watching that guy play. So I'm rooting for him to do something in the Masters, because, was people at the top of their games doing the stuff they love is like what the audience wants. With explaining hand.
Sure.
You got my explaining hand there.
The old gotta be like something like that. Let me lay it the way it is, Larry. Well, one thing I want to say for sure is that the people I'm looking back on the pile of comics that people have sent me to this show. Every time I get down on myself and I go, oh boy, I made $40 this month for hours and hours and hours of like work that I put into this stuff. Then I look at the pile of free comics and I go, oh, wait a minute. This is cool. And I look at letters from people connecting to real people, connecting people to real comics, etc. And it's worth it. I love it.
Well, that's the thing. You can tell the people who are like, I just want to get paid. Oh, maybe you should do something else, because there's so much easier ways to make more money with less hassle than doing comics. So You know, you have to find your joy in. Well, I connected with that one guy who got what I was saying. You know, and maybe it's 30 guys, and then a little while it's 1,000 guys, and then pretty soon you got your own interview with Dan Shaheen.
Yeah. You know how hard it would be for me to put together, like, hey, me and Larry are going to get together and talk about comics, and like to even get, there's 6 people watching right now, like 6 people, but just to get 6 people in the room interested in conversing and talking about what, like, that ain't easy, and I don't take it for granted at all. Oh, Ryan.
The explaining review. That's awesome.
We're gonna have Ryan in here someday, and I want to have him on and do a live pancake demonstration. What do you think, Ryan? You ready to do that? I think that would be great. Ryan makes
pancakes, bespoke
pancakes for his.
He has to. Your beard would be really challenging to do. He should do you. Do a Dan Shaheen pancake.
Wouldn't that be great? Oh,
yes,
I would love that.
Then you take a picture of it, a screen grab, and then make a T-shirt, and then you have to split merch money with Ryan. But still.
Well, let me just say, I've got more stuff, and I hate to disappoint anybody who sent in their books and is still waiting for a review. They're coming over the next few. I got so much, I decided I want to give a little more room to each one, and have a little fun with it. But say, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Hey, if the folks wanted to see their comics on the $1 Million Comic Cam, how might one go about that? Where would they send them?
Well, the first thing I do is send it to P.O. Box 1163 in Arcata, California, at the $1 Million Mailbox. And then Dan and I will talk about it.
I think that's all you need to do. That's literally all it takes. However,
I'd write a cover letter, introduce yourself. Don't just like throw your, you know, if you make the world's best apple pie and you just throw it on a plate, everybody goes, yeah, that's the best apple pie I've ever had. But how do they tell people how to get more of that crazy stuff? Send a letter going, hey, my name's Susie Cream Cheese. I made this crazy apple pie based on Ryan Claytor's grandfather's fishing story. And, you know, and then oh, well, that's something to talk about. And then everybody buys your pie.
And you don't have to have an amazing resume like Mark Bernal. By the way, this is, I buried the lead. I should have read it first because, I mean, one of the first artists at Bungie.
The Mist 1 and 2. That's a crazy.
Was it not Mist, but Myth? I guess I thought it was Mist. I thought it was Mist too, but it was Myth 1 and 2. But pre-production on Halo as a lead artist, art director on Halo.
Yeah.
Like, aren't you loving the new Halo show? I haven't watched it yet.
Absolutely. My kid and I, that's appointment television for us. It doesn't make any sense, and I never played the game, so I don't care. Yeah. But I just, there's guys walking around and aliens, and they want something, and then everybody gets shot, and then they blow up some people. Yes, please give me that show all day long. Right? It doesn't have to make sense. Natasha McElhone is in it. She's gorgeous. So she's the scientist making clones. Okay, I'll watch that all day long.
And it seems like a spiritual successor, if not just in design, of Starship Troopers for sure. Like the whole Colonial Marines, powered space armor, all that.
Sure, it's kind of a giant trope. That's chicken and the egg, though, right? Like when we went to New Zealand on the best day I've ever had. It was my 43rd birthday, where we found out after trying for years, Mimi's pregnant. We're gonna have a kid.
Yeah,
and I'm in New Zealand, and our schedule that day is to go to Weta and have people walk us around. Because, so like, come on, that's the best day ever. So we went there. You have to sign an NDA because you're gonna see all kinds of crazy stuff. But do you know Christian Gossett? Chris Gossett from.
I know that name.
Yeah, he's involved with the Axanar Star Trek fanfics.
Oh, okay.
Fiction. He did a crazy good comic book back in the day, like 20 years ago. I can't remember the name of it, but it was about a girl that was a Soviet sci-fi thing. I forget the name of it, but Weta was working on it to try to get it going.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, hey man, we're going to be in New Zealand. Can you just set us up for a walk around with a buddy of yours? And he's like, oh, no problem. So that was great. Like he really set us up for a good day. But we saw them working on the Microsoft Halo TV show, and they had like a giant warthog, and they had stuff like everywhere. and because this was 2006, I didn't have an iPhone yet, so I wasn't even tempted to take pictures. But they had like everything from Narnia was walking around, and it was just like the best day of my life. And then they didn't do anything with the show. They're like,
weak.
So 15 years later, that show's finally on, and other people are working on it. But the designs are the designs, and I love that show.
This was just after your son was. You found out you were going to be a dad?
Yeah. So this morning, right, I wake up. It's my 43rd birthday. I wake up in a caravan thing. We're driving around the country together. And Mimi asked me the night before, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, I just want to sleep. Like, this has been a rough 2 weeks. I sleep really lightly. Just let me sleep. So unbeknownst to me, she jumps up first thing in the morning and runs down to our little squatty toilet that was in the van, and because the van's on springs, it shakes and wiggles. So I'm like, oh my god, all I wanted to do was sleep. Why did she do this? And it was to pee on the stick, right? So she jumps back into the back of the van, and she's like, happy birthday. I'm like, I just wanted to sleep.
Nice.
She's like, oh buddy,
nice.
We're pregnant. So I was like, oh well, this is great. It's my birthday. Find out we're having a baby, and our job today is go to Weta and look around.
That's
like the best day ever.
But was Walker warped in the womb by a Weta walk around?
I love it. That's a lot of alliteration. A couple of my friends from New Zealand consider him an honorary Kiwi because his couple cells divided in their country. So
he's tall enough, dude. Last time I saw that guy, a picture of that dude, he's towering over you now.
Yeah, he's 2 inches taller than me. He's all muscle. It's crazy. He's I don't know what he's doing. He says he's going out for the football team, but he's working out with the football team now. And freshmen never get redshirted, so that's But he's working out, so he's
juicing. He's juicing.
Probably. If juice is made out of chicken nuggets and
overdosing on
glasses of hot fat and sugar.
He's 14, like fiction and pop culture. Dude, I don't know. I remember in high school there were dudes juicing in my high school.
I mean, California is probably not unknown, right? But he likes movies too much to.
There really you go. He's too smart. Those guys were meatheads. I remember getting jumped. I got jumped in the hallway by 3 wrestlers.
Wow.
Right? I was a freshman. These are the 3 biggest, like toughest wrestling guys. The thing is, though, I have 3 older brothers, a lot older than me.
Oh.
And so like they could not, there was nothing that they could really do to me. Like not even close to what my older brothers had just pounded me for so many years. That it was literally like laughable what they
were. That was just a Tuesday for you, right? Come on, I'll take it.
And that's what turned me into the bitter nerd that you see before you today, folks. It was all that high school bullying.
High school's only 4 years, though, right? I mean, whatever.
It was great, dude. Those were some of the best years of comics. Like,
well, that's for sure.
That I can remember my high school years. I was working in a comic shop in the 90s, like when late 80s, early 90s, all that good stuff, all that Dark Horse Legends that I talked to Mike Richardson about, like super quality comics coming out every single month. I'd go in a week, I'd pick up a stack like this of comics. It would cost me like, $15 or something by like world beating artists from all over the industry at that time.
So what years are you talking about? Like early 90s or?
Let's see. I graduated in 93 from high school.
Yeah. So you got some late 80s and early 90s in there. That's an awesome time for comics.
Oh, it was the best, dude. I miss it so much. With still a lot of those guys are around today, but it's like none of them, they hit that time. And then when the industry broke up with the Heroes World thing, a lot of indie people lost a lot of steam because of that.
Yeah. That whole black and white explosion in the 80s, and then it happened a new thing would happen every 20 years or so in comics. And then you had in the early 2000s, you had like the cool graphic novel thing that I was in on. And then now there just doesn't seem to be anything because Kickstarter and you have direct contact with your audience. So there's not it seems like it's not the same thing anymore, right?
Yeah, it's not. But the people are really missing out. The Kickstarter people miss out because if you targeted comic book stores more, there's a multiplier in that. Like when you win over the one buyer at the comic store, you win over potentially
absolutely
all their customers.
I mean,
not to mention those people are the ones who know comics really well and read it and want to see interesting stuff. So
the whole thing about, me and stores, I think stores are vital. Like the whole thing that happened with Transmetropolitan, that was going to get canceled. Except Hibbs and I would sell it to everybody as they came in the store. Like, no, you need to read this. Do you know Hunter S. Thompson? This is him in Star Trek. And that would get people and the second they buy one, it's like, okay. So it had a rough first year, but our store sold 400 copies every month because I just wouldn't let people leave.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It is. It's a lot. And then, do you remember when DC used to do those marketing things with Diamond? I forget what they were called, but it was Diamond would fly you out and give presentation with publishers and stuff. And so we told them, it was like, just give away, do a freight paid shipment on 11 and give it away, and then make 12 the end of a cliffhanger story, and that book will go on for 5 years. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm not sure how you duplicate that in Kickstarter, but people find out how it some way. They find out about it some way. You just need, I don't know. If I knew how to work Kickstarter, I would have done it before now.
I know. Yeah, it's a whole new world. I just feel like a lot of people go for one and neglect the other, and we're just in a multi-channel world where you need to just max it out to as many channels as possible. And I was going to say, and I think that if you look at your cost, your return on effort of trying to sell a comic, right? Like they talk about the customer acquisition cost. That's a big thing, right? Like your cost of acquiring a customer for a Kickstarter is high just because there's so much noise that you have to cut through signal wise. You have to get out there. Whereas when you go to a comic store, there's still a lot of noise in that channel. But once you do, it can then get amplified. And then that's how it can help your fan base grow, I think, faster than you can just one at a time. Well, what do I
agree. I agree. I was laughing at Manny. He said, tough to get eyes. Lots of great eyes out there. Which I was like, I wonder what he's getting at. But he's like, oh, great work. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of great work out there. But, come to think of it, there are a lot of people with pretty eyes out there. So he's right.
Oh, Larry. I get lost in yours. So, Larry, let me just, oh, my gosh. We're getting smushy here. Hang on a second. Guys, I got to get out of here. I got to get back to my day job. Larry, we got to talk more. But what's coming up? Oh, on Friday, tomorrow at noon.
Yeah, tomorrow. Don't we have Star Trek for tomorrow, right?
Serious Star Trek. Yeah.
There you go.
10 backward.
I don't know love that picture of Cornelius from Escape. That's great.
I just love the look of Troy and Riker. Like they're kind of sizing him up as like they're going to bring him home together. It's going to be I don't know what this picture.
What is there not to like about this? I mean, come on. I mean, to not like, you got Nazi Kirk and Spock over there. Data looks like he's considering like monkey sex. That one's awesome.
Everybody brings their own something to this picture.
Riker looks like Cornelius just chewed his beard off.
I love it. He's got a shaved nipple showing too.
I know. What's up there? Come on, Will.
Okay. Check us out on Friday for Serious Star Trek. Come back. I don't know. Tuesdays I'm doing Danger Room. Next Thursday, I don't have anything planned. Maybe another Mailbox show if you're down, Larry. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I love looking at all those comics. And you find out cool stuff. Like Paralaxium is my thing, I think. I already knew about Ryan's stuff. But so Paralaxium.
Did you know this? Oh, Ryan, right on top of things.
Yeah.
All right. On sale at fighter shops through Diamond, because why the heck not?
Why wouldn't you, right? Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Well, I don't want I don't want to say, Ryan, that being on this show was what got you taken in a diamond, but I do know I did connect you with some of the diamond purchasing people after I talked to our pal Steve Jeffy, another friend of the show. So I'm glad that's working out for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Keep it up. Keep up the good work. All right, Larry, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks you, everybody, for watching.
Yeah.
I'll just keep you in here and I'll play the outro, and we'll see you. Hey, do you know when we're going to see them, Larry?
What's that, for the $1 Million Mailbox?
Yeah, next time is fine. Yeah,
next time. On $1 Million Mailbox.